Right, we are back. Another college confession edition of Your Relationship Sucks! Exclamation point. Very excited about this. Love college confessions. Great way to start off my after work evening, I guess. You know, just filling my time
Yeah,
here,
you always
helping these young
get
kids
a
out.
second win for this, don't you?
I get very excited. I get very excited. Want to know what these young kids are up to, what they are doing, just how many mistakes they're making, and how many mistakes I can help prevent. That's what we're here for. Again, if you're listening on the podcast, we appreciate it. Thank you. Please go to the our YouTube channel and subscribe or whatever you do over there. Help us out. If you're on YouTube, you're seeing us, please go to the podcast, do the same thing. Whatever. Um, Anyways, that's housekeeping. That's out of the way. We're done. Let's get into it. I don't know what's coming at me. I never have any idea. This is all off the cuff. This is brand new to me, brand new to the audience, but you got something good for us. So hit me with it. Let's get
Yeah,
first
not brand new to
impressions. What do we
me,
got?
in hopes that all of you find it entertaining. This one is My Roommate's Girlfriend Walks Around Naked is the title. So what is your first impression?
My first impression is she's probably not attractive. Mostly because this is not a problem for a lot of young guys. If it's an attractive girl that's walking around, it's just not a problem. It's just not. That's life. It's just so whatever. So I'm gonna say that's my first impression is that this guy thinks that this girl is not attractive and he wants it to stop.
Okay, let's find out. I, a 21-year-old male, live with 3 guys, a 20-year-old male, a 19-year-old male, and a 20-year-old male. And we've had 0 problems for the whole year we've been living together, except for the stupid who's stealing my food stuff, and we all get along really well. Well, recently, one of them got a girlfriend who seems nice and stays over regularly. My only problem is that she is always naked or only wearing underwear and a bra. She'll come here wearing an outfit, go get changed, and start walking around naked. I'm not gay or asexual, and I'm single, but I still find this very uncomfortable and wrong. I've asked the other 2 if it makes them uncomfortable, and they told me I should feel lucky I get to see a beautiful woman naked all the time, but it makes me feel awkward and not want to be in my own home. How do I go about this?
Well, I was wrong. This guy's uncomfortable because
I know.
he wants to have sex with this girl. He wants to have sex with this girl so badly that he is now complaining and saying, how do I get out of this situation because I can't control myself? So it's uncomfortable for me. Look, I don't think there's ever been a time where it's been uncomfortable for me to be in a house, right? Like, there's doors and other rooms and porches and other places I can be that I have literally never been uncomfortable to be inside my own home. That has never once happened to me.
Never once happened to you?
These other guys said, so 2 of the roommates are saying that she's beautiful, right? Now again, I don't know exactly how attractive she is, whatever, but what that tells me is that they're jealous, right? They're jealous. They're saying like, hey man, like we wish we had that problem, right? And this guy is so that's 2 to 1 right there. That's 2 to 1. That tells me that no matter what, like this girl actually is, relatively attractive. And this guy who's complaining, he wants to have sex with her. He wants to have sex with her. He doesn't know what to do. He literally does not know what to do with himself. I guess because he doesn't want to steal his roommate's girlfriend or whatever. I don't know. Super weird move by the girl to show up in, like, I guess sort of dressed up in outfits and then to walk around naked. Usually that doesn't happen. Like that's a, usually girls will bring something different, right? They bring like another pair of like some sweats or something, or they borrow some clothes, right?
Yeah, I guess like she's getting there and then like immediately her and the other roommate are just going at it, and then she's got no clothes on, or she gets there and she immediately takes her clothes off. Like, he makes it, the way he writes it makes it seem like she gets there and then she just strips down, but I don't know if she's getting there and then they're having sex and then she's just not putting clothes back on.
No,
which
no,
I can relate to.
No, this is 100% like, I have now realized that whatever work clothes I have to wear, I don't know how old this girl is, but, you know, this is like, oh man, I have a real job or something, and I realize that actually wearing work clothes sucks. It's the worst thing in the world. I don't want to do it for a second longer than I have to. The second I get in the door, they're coming off, right? I completely relate to that. Like, I wear work clothes for as small amount of time as possible in my life. I hate work clothes. They're the worst thing. They genuinely are. Like, they're a giant waste of time. They do nothing to help my productivity. None of that. But I don't walk around naked with it. Now, I'm not knocking somebody who's walking around naked. I'm just saying it's an atypical response to when you get rid of them. Usually you put something else on, right? So usually this girl will put something else on. Now, this guy, he wants to know, like, what do I do, right? So the question, the answer is you can't sleep with her because I think you're too scared of her, honestly. Like, I think you're too scared of her. So even if you had a chance to do it, I think you're too scared of her, right? Which means that you need to ask her to cover up, basically so that you can concentrate. That's kind of what it sounds like. Again, like, this is somebody who very clearly, like, finds this girl attractive, and he's uncomfortable because he doesn't know what to do with himself around another human being, right? Now, you would think if she's doing this all the time that it would just sort of wear off, you know what I mean? Like he would be able to put it in his head, like, hey, this is my friend. He's trying to say they're friends. I don't know if they're actually friends. Like, sometimes they have his roommate, sometimes doesn't. But she's trying to say that they're friends.
Like, they get along at least enough.
Right. And so he's like, well, I don't want to mess up, you know, whatever, which is fine. Like, good for you. Like, commendable. I get it. Like, I'm with you. But the issue here is this guy doesn't want to rock the boat. And the problem is, having this conversation is going to be difficult for him because the real reason he needs to have this conversation, he's not going to make that, he personally is not going to make it a comfortable conversation, right? He's going to mess up the conversation because he's not really prepared for that. That's the problem with this. It's a very simple conversation, right? It's a very simple thing to say to somebody, you know? You go up, and honestly, so there's two questions, right? Like, do you go up directly to him or do you go to her? You know, whatever. Now, if it was me, I would go to her, right? Hopefully while she's clothed, because this guy's going to mess it up. But just to say, like, hey, you know what? Like, I understand, like, that stuff, but, you know, it makes me uncomfortable. I'd appreciate it, you know, if you wore some, you know, just some clothing, you know, whatever, like some shorts and a shirt or something. Like, just if you had something on, it would be useful because it makes me uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
I think that's reasonable. What he has to do. I think he has to do that because he's got a better chance with that than he does with the guy. Because if he goes to his roommate and he says, hey, I need your girlfriend to cover up, that guy, there's a potential that guy's going to ask a follow-up question, which is why. And I don't think he's going to be able to navigate that because the real answer is because I want to have sex with your girlfriend, right? And the guy might even be proud of that. He might be like, okay, cool. Like, I get it. Yeah, she's hot, you know, whatever. Like, that might be okay with him, but he also might not be okay with that. And there might be something that you know, that kind of goes on there. So the problem, the real problem is that this guy doesn't know how to be around other human beings. Like, being naked is not that weird. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, I mean, it's, you know, whatever. Like, I get it. It's not your girlfriend, like all this stuff, but it's not, it's just a person, right? It's just a person. Yeah. Like, have a conversation with her, man. Just talk to her. If she's cool with just hanging out naked, you know, whatever, like, have a conversation. And if you're not comfortable with that, then go in another room. You know, I mean, like, it's not that hard, you know, or whatever. But if it's that big a deal where you're like, well, I want to be in the living room and she's going to be in the living room and I don't want her, but then fucking say something to her. You know what I mean? Like, have some respect, right? Because the reason she keeps doing it is because nobody seems to have voiced that opinion, right? But I also can't tell because these other roommates are saying, well, you're lucky, right? So now I'm curious, like, where is she specifically in the house? Like, where is she where she's being seen by only two of the four roommates? And that's where I have the question, right? Because it doesn't sound like, okay, we're all hanging out in the living room.
No, it sounds like the other two roommates are seeing it too, but they don't care.
Okay. Okay, that's not how I read
Because
that.
he
That's not how I read that.
He approached them and asked them if they cared.
Yeah, but then they just said you're lucky.
Yeah, like he's like, I don't know why. Like basically, they're saying like, I don't know why you're complaining. You're lucky. We don't care. So like he was trying to see if they
Right, but
cared
I don't
about the
understand
fact that she was
like
naked all the time.
right
I think it's just
the way I
poor
hear
wording.
that. Okay, but the way I hear that is like, yeah, man, we wish we could see her naked too.
It
Not
sounds like
we're
they
okay.
all see her naked, and he was asking how they felt about it.
Okay, all right. Well, then he didn't convey that message at all. Like honestly, like he did not convey that message at all, which is fine. That's okay. So, look, man, nobody's complained to her, and so that's why she's doing it, right? Like, so she's doing it because nobody has said anything to her, you know. And honestly, she might be a little mortified herself when you bring it up, and she's like, "Oh man, if she's a reasonable person, which she probably is." It might hit her head like, oh man, I'm making somebody like really uncomfortable, right? Like that, I didn't even realize, right? Because you're not saying anything. You're not telling her that she's doing something that you don't like, right? So that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
And it's the same with all that stuff, right? Like, somebody's eating your food, you say, hey man, quit fucking eating my food, right? Like, I mean, this is basic stuff, So
yeah,
tell her. Honestly, go right to her. Don't complain to the dude, whatever, because again, you're going to fuck that up. Like, this dude is definitely going to fuck that up. But also, it's more respectful if you go just directly to her and just say, hey, you know what? Like, I appreciate, that you're doing this and whatever. And, I hate to say that, but it makes me uncomfortable. And I would prefer, do you think, that you could do some of this? Just, for me, it makes me, comfortable.
Yeah.
And I'm speaking for myself here. So I'm asking you to do me a favor, not the house. Okay, make that very clear. Like, this is coming from you, not from everybody. Do not get in. Don't go in and try and throw other people under the bus, because that's going to cause way more tension and whatever. Like later on when she starts, she complains.
So the wording was
whatever.
he asked the other two if it makes them feel uncomfortable. Was the specific wording he used. And then that's what they said, is that he should be lucky. So clearly they don't feel uncomfortable by it. So
well,
if
then I literally don't understand.
And throw them under.
I literally don't understand his, like, that doesn't make any sense. The way that he worded that and the way he said their answers came, those two things don't jive. But yes, that's what I'm saying. These other two don't care. That's my point. The other two people don't care.
No,
obviously, the boyfriend doesn't care. Like, the other two don't care.
It would very, very explicitly be not what they thought. Like, the house doesn't feel that way, and you're going to cause a bigger issue, is what you're saying.
Right. Yeah, that's my point. Like, you're the only one who cares about this, so don't make it seem like it's coming from the house. And that's an easy thing to do, because then, you feel a little comfort in numbers, that sort of thing, even though nobody's there. Like, you start to deflect some of that stuff. No, be an adult and say to her, look her in the eye and say, like, hey, look, this is making me personally uncomfortable. It would be a favor to me. Would you consider, putting on clothes while you're here? Because it's making me uncomfortable. Nobody else has said anything, but for me personally, whatever. And by the way, if I'm not here, be as naked as you want, whatever. Like, but when I'm here, please, put on some clothes.
Yeah.
Because it's making me uncomfortable. And, honestly, if she's a reasonable person, well, she'll do it. She'll do it if she's a reasonable person. But don't try to throw anybody else under the bus. Don't try to make a bigger deal out of it than it is. Just talk to her, whatever. But definitely don't talk to her boyfriend about it. You can do it afterwards. Like, you can talk to her boyfriend afterwards or whatever, but don't bring it up to him, whatever, because it's her that needs to hear it. And also, I'm telling you, you're going to fuck it up. Like, you're just 100%. But also be prepared that her boyfriend is going to ask you, potentially, he might ask you, why did you have that conversation with her? Just be prepared for that and have a better answer than because I want to have sex with her. Because everybody knows that's the answer. He knows that's the answer. So you need to have a better answer than that. I'm just saying, like, that's just a fact, because 21-year-old dudes, big egos. What other explanation would he have? There's literally no other explanation. Like, this guy, like, I threw out my original explanation, right? Like, my original explanation was, like, he was like, she's ugly. Like, I don't want to see unattractive
Maybe he
people.
just doesn't want, like, random naked people walking through his apartment. Like, I guess if the tables were turned and some, like, girl's boyfriend was just, like, walking around.
Totally different thing, though. I mean, like, objectively, like, dudes are just objectively less attractive naked than
they are.
Than they get, like, and I'm not even talking from a sexual standpoint. I just literally mean, like, visually, all of those things.
Their
like,
bits are not, like, you have a lot more
they're
coming
just
at you.
Yeah, 100%. Like the female form, the female form, the feminine form, whatever you want to call it, is just more attractive than the opposite form. Like, it just is.
I do have to concede to that.
So, like, there's no, I mean, I get it, whatever, but he's not saying, like, hey, my religious beliefs or any of these things, right? He's just saying, like, it makes me uncomfortable. He's saying I can't be in my own fucking house. Unless he's going to tell me that morally it's wrong, which he would have brought up in this post, the only possible explanation for it's uncomfortable in my house, there's two possible explanations. One, she's super ugly, or two, he wants to bang her, and I already believe that these other two guys said that she was hot, so I'm assuming that she looks good. So the only possible explanation that's left is that he wants to have sex with her, and that's it. It's the only thing that is even remotely possible. If somebody is uncomfortable in their own home, like, think about that. In their own home, their own space, they are uncomfortable. That's never happened to me, ever, in the history of my life, ever. It does not happen to people. Like, people, like, genuinely think about that. Think about being in your house, and then think about the times you've been uncomfortable to be inside your house. Very rare that happens, right? Very rare.
The only time it happened in college is when my roommate and I were fighting. But she was a real bitch, so.
Right. That's what I'm saying, right? Like, it's not like you just being uncomfortable in your own house is not something that happens very often, right? So this guy, unless it's a moral stance, and if it was a moral stance, I think he would be up on his high horse a little bit more with this question. Mm-hmm. I'm just telling you, this is what I'm basing it on the words that he's saying, and he's not telling me anything about morals or any of those things.
I agree. I think he would have said, like, I'm from a conservative household. Even if it wasn't, like, super high, like, really, like, oh, it goes against my religion. He's like, I come from a conservative household.
Yeah, he would have
really
talked about
makes
his
me
morals.
Uncomfortable.
Right.
There's no, like, sub-language.
Right, 100%. Like, this dude, again, like, this is, I mean, you just go by what they say. Like, I don't have to read anything into it. I'm just telling you. Like, I was like, okay, well, this would be interesting. This guy's like, hey, look, like, there's an ugly girl who walks around naked in my house. Like, I don't want to see that. That's what I was like, okay, that's kind of interesting. And then it didn't happen to be that. And I was like, oh, well, there's literally only one other explanation. I mean, there's no other possible reason that he would be uncomfortable to be inside his own house when it doesn't appear that she's doing anything wrong except for being naked. And the only reason that would make you uncomfortable is either you didn't want to see it or you wanted to see it too much. If you were neutral to it, then you wouldn't care. You're one extreme or the other, and the other guy's ruled out one extreme. So with this one where he's going, yeah, she looks pretty good, and I'd like to, I'd like to get naked with her, and I can't do that, and so now I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right?
So
he got hormones. He got hormones raised. He's 21. Hormones are raising.
I mean, yeah, he does. And from what I'm hearing, too, is you gave good advice of, the person you have the issue with, talk to that person.
Yeah, go talk to her. Don't talk to the boyfriend. Don't talk to the boyfriend. Talk to her.
Don't try and bring other unless they are included, unless they are like,
They're not. He already said
I know, but I'm just saying hypothetically, like unless someone explicitly tells you that you're on the same page as you, don't bring them into it because people do that all the time.
Yeah, 100%.
You do it, and then you like the people who do it frequently, like they stay in that habit for the rest of their life.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, throwing other people under the bus. It sucks. It makes you a shitty person. Don't do it. Just look, man. Just go talk to this girl. Whatever. Like, don't be creepy. Don't give her compliments or just tell her it makes you uncomfortable. End of story. Like, don't even try to soften the blow with like, hey, I think you look good or what. Just don't do it. She's probably gonna be able to tell anyways. But just rule it out. It's fine. Don't worry about it. And then go back to enjoying being in your house, man. I mean, that's it. Like, it's not, again, this shit ain't rocket science. It's pretty simple. So, all right. I think we did it. I think we helped this guy out.
We totally did.
So that was it. That was another college confession. Anybody who's watching, listening, whatever, thank you very much. You can find the podcast, you can find the YouTube. Your relationship sucks. If you're doing one, please do the other. If you're doing both, thank you. Recruit some friends. Whatever, do something, help us out, please. No, I mean, in all seriousness, we really do appreciate anybody who's doing that. Remember, if you want a Karma Cancer t-shirt, you can send us an email. What's the email?
The email is info.yourrelationshipsucks@gmail.com.
That's right. So if you want one, send us an email. I don't have pricing or a website right now, but just send us
Yeah,
an
it might
email.
take a while.
We'll
is what
figure
I
it
was gonna
out.
say.
Don't worry, we'll
But
figure it out.
if
If you have no
we
idea what I'm
have,
talking about,
people interested, we can make it happen.
100%.
As the one who makes
And
it happen, we can make it happen.
that's correct. And if you have no idea what we're talking about, go look at our Christmas present to the world. Go watch our Christmas Day episode. It's Karma Cancer. You find it, whatever. Like it's you'll understand, whatever. And then rush to get those post Christmas T-shirts. Obviously, that's what you need. Whatever. But if you want one of those, whatever. Send us an email at the email. But anyways, again, we really do appreciate people listening, watching, whatever. Thank you for the support. It means a lot to us. So that was it. This is the College Confessions. We'll be back next time. Maybe tomorrow. I don't know when this is posting. At some point in the future, we'll be back with another episode of Your Relationship Sucks. We're helping more people. Hopefully it's another College Confession. We help these dumb kids do this dumb. So look, man, if you got naked girls walking around you, man, just appreciate it as it is. I'm telling you right now, just appreciate it. Learn to not be uncomfortable. Just appreciate it, because that shit's going to end real soon. So just learn to enjoy it. You know, that's it. That's honestly, that's my take.
You really only have a couple more months left of that.
Just fucking learn to enjoy it, dude.
And then you'll be in
a
entirely different.
I'm telling you, dude. I just enjoy it. Whatever. All right. We will see everybody next time.